What up, YouTube? Ed WeskerGriff coming back with a mail day recap video. Have some pretty cool additions to the collection, including a couple non-sports cards. So it's going to kind of be a change of pace here. I only got one sports card to show off, so I might as well show that first. Before I do that, though, I do want to say I'm filming this on Monday. I know on Tuesday, the Insert Revolution podcast is going to be on around 8:30, and they're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. I'm going to try to hop on for that episode if I get out from work in time. But they're going to be, obviously being an Eagles fan, definitely have a lot of thoughts on the Super Bowl this year since the Eagles are in it, and they're going to be facing the Kansas City Chiefs. So definitely tons of excitement here in Philadelphia over the Eagles being in the Super Bowl. And this is only the third time in my lifetime that the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl. They were there in 2004 against the Patriots, lost to Brady and Belichick by 3 points in a real close nail-biter. Then 5 years ago, they had to face the Patriots again, Brady and Belichick, in one of the more improbable Super Bowl runs, I guess you can say, because the Eagles lost Carson Wentz that year, who was the leading person for the MVP, but the team really rallied around Nick Foles, and Nick Foles just went on this magical, crazy run and pretty much had the game of his life against the Patriots, just completely balling out and able to defeat Tom Brady, who in that game threw for over 500 yards, and I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. Brady had an absolutely insane game. Probably one of his best performances in all the Super Bowls he's been in was that game. He was just unreal in that game. And the Eagles just managed to win that game, but it came down to the last play. Potentially, the Patriots could have tied it on the last play of the game. So that was a complete and total nail-biter the entire way through. And I'm imagining the game this Sunday is going to be the same way, because they're facing the Chiefs. They're facing a powerhouse team. They're facing Mahomes and Andy Reid. Those guys are going to bring it. It's going to be intense. And we'll see if Jalen Hurts can have the game of his life and ball out and beat Mahomes, which I know would upset a shit ton of people in the hobby. Definitely would agitate a lot of the speculators, but oh well. We'll see what happens. Wouldn't be the first time the Eagles, rained on the parade of the hobby speculators and investors or whatnot, but we'll see what happens. Now on to the pickups, now that the monologue's over. But the first card here, we're going to start off with the Lone Sports card. It's from Clearly Authentic 2021 Topps. Nice retro autograph there of Alec Boehm. Rookie autograph, so it has the 53 Topps design there. Just really like the acetate look of these cards. I believe these are either short prints or super short prints, but I've been looking for this card for a while. There was a dealer that had it up there for $150 or best offer, and then there was another one for $90 or best offer, and both of those guys weren't really budging off their price, only going like 10 to 15% off their asking price. So just waited and waited and waited for this card. The back of this case is a little scratched up, but just waited a while for this card to come to auction, and finally one did, and was able to add it for under 45 bucks into the collection. So really, really happy about that. Boehm had a really nice season last year. He was one of the few Phillies to actually do really well offensively in the World Series. Was probably our most consistent hitter in the World Series. So on the big stage, he performed very, very well. So Alec Boehm. Next, we got some Star Wars Galaxy pickups. So shout out to Brent near Mint Musings. But he did a box of these, and I just love the design of these cards. Topps really did a great job. I know people will rag on Topps whenever they make mistakes, but When they do good things, I think they should be given credit, and they really knocked it out of the park with this particular Star Wars product. But pick this up. This is the Star Wars Galaxy Prism Refractor of Wedge Antilles. So with the snow speeder there, the Hoth base in the background, the Secret Rebel base. But this is numbered out of 75, so 61 out of 75. And these are just real cool cards. And when I saw this portrait card of Wedge, wanted to add it into the collection because I think Wedge is probably one of the most underrated Star Wars characters out of the entire franchise. This is the sketch variation of the card, but probably the best pilot in the Rebel Alliance. Certainly, probably a top 3 overall pilot in the entire franchise. I guess you could say Anakin Vedder is probably the best, with maybe Wedge coming in second. But survived so many major battles and engagements over the course of the trilogy. You know, both Death Stars, Hoth, even some of the new stuff, some of the new canon from the books. I mean, the dude just does it all. The dude's a beast. The ace of aces. And then the last pickup here is coming from this. Finally got one of these in. This went to the eBay authentic guarantee. So finally had a run-in with that. Now, I do want to say, from my understanding, the card has to be over $250 to be sent to that facility in California. But for me, the card was listed for $250 or best offer. I sent an offer for $150, and the seller accepted, and it still went to that center. So I think even if the card is listed for $250, even if it doesn't sell for that, it still automatically will go to the facility. So I was kind of surprised with that. It was an easy process. I didn't have no issues. But this is the card. Get this open. So one of these are in here. And this was the card. Got ties in with the back there, Pearl Jam. But finally was able to add one of these into the collection. This is from 1997 Ultra Figures of Rock, Argentina. Eddie Vedder in an excellent to mint 6. So I found out about this card about a year ago. And the condition of these cards are brutal. I mean, I've seen some examples that, you know, cards from the early 1900s look like they're in better condition. I don't know how these cards were distributed or taken care of, but they were definitely not. So there's the back. And these are from Argentina. But I've seen some cards where there's grime and dirt and just black marks, creases all over the back here. I've seen some that are really badly miscut. I've seen ones with huge creases right here, ones with really bad corners. Because I thought about buying the card raw potentially and sending it in for grading, but I just couldn't find one half decent example. And more and more of these cards, and cards from this set in particular, it's a pretty decent set. I think it's over 90 cards, but there's a lot of good bands and musicians that are in there, and I've been seeing more and more of them get graded, and I rarely see higher grades or grades over a 5. So this one was a 6. It's definitely off center, left to right. But the back is relatively clean. There's a couple marks there, but this is definitely one of the better examples that I've seen. And like I said, the seller had it up there for $250, which I think is pretty high. I didn't want to pay that, so I sent him an offer for $150, and he accepted. So I was comfortable paying that for this card. But Just a cool photo there of Eddie Vedder, lead singer of Pearl Jam. And not a card I've ever seen before, but a very cool, unique looking card there. I'm not sure if it's Eddie Vedder's rookie. It actually might be. Need Big Smooth maybe to help me out there, but not something you see every day, that's for sure. So that's all I got for you guys. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and have a great one. Go Birds. Peace.